Before we are born, there are memories.
Prima di nascere ci sono ricordi.
While we live, there are memories.
Mentre viviamo ci sono ricordi.
After we die, there are memories.
Dopo la nostra morte ci sono ricordi.
Our memories are stored like houses inside of us,
I nostri ricordi archiviati come casette dentro di noi,
with each laced room holding our weather-worn histories.
con ogni stanza che contiene le nostre storie deteriorate dal passare del tempo.
Prized possessions and trinkets,
I nostri beni, i nostri ninnoli,
inkwells of the heart.
calamai del nostro cuore.
Memories that are spoken are awakened.
I ricordi raccontati si risvegliano,
They call out to be heard and shared.
vogliono venire ascoltati, condivisi.
They are our ghosts returning.
I nostri fantasmi che tornano,
They are our ghosts returning.
i nostri fantasmi che tornano.
Memory has a velveting
I
touch.
ricordi sono vellutati al tatto.
Feel it.
Toccali.
Memory is an old familiar
I
voice.
ricordi hanno una voce familiare.
Listen.
Ascoltali.
Memory has powerful lungs.
I ricordi hanno polmoni ponderosi.
See its chest rise and fall.
Inala, esala.
Memory is a comfort
I
blanket.
ricordi sono una coperta calda.
Hold it close to you.
Tienila accanto.
Memories form and float like traceable contours across time and
I ricordi
space.
si formano e fluttuano nel tempo e nello spazio.
We lose and find ourselves in the milky circle of memory.
Li perdiamo e li ritroviamo nei vortici della memoria.
It is these memory rooms that we enter today.
Oggi entreremo in quelle stanze dei ricordi.
Each story told is a bright star.
Ogni storia raccontata è una stella lucente,
Personal but connected.
personale ma collegata.
They uniquely reveal a lived, shared history.
Sono ricordi che rivelano una storia vissuta e condivisa.
Belonging to a generation of Italians
Appartengono alla generazione di
who
italiani
made
che
Australia
ha scelto l'Australia, Victoria, Melbourne come la loro nuova casa.
their new home.
Guarda,
Look.
stiamo seguendo il nodoso pendio della collina,
We are heading down the knotty hill
attraverso vicoli dall'atmosfera ovattata e campi verdi,
through the hushed lanes and lush fields
attraversando strade vuote fino a raggiungere l'approdo sicuro sulla riva del mare.
across the empty roads, down to the safe harbour, to the warm water's edge.
Guarda,
Look.
le valigie sono pronte, le mani sono serrate,
Suitcases are packed, hands are tightly gripped,
attendono pazientemente di prendere la nave dei ricordi.
patiently waiting to catch that memory ship.
Pronta a salpare, fate attenzione,
To set sail, stand clear
per
now,
farci iniziare il nuovo percorso di immigrazione in Australia.
to start our migrant journey to Australia.
Questi sono i ricordi che ci caratterizzano.
These are the memories that make us.
Vorrei tornare indietro per un momento, ma il tempo non si ferma, corre lontano. Io stringo forte a me la piccola mano che un giorno mi accarezzava, e da quel giorno i miei ricordi li dedico a te. Ero un bambino ma tu mi insegnavi a capire tutte le cose che ormai sapevo da sempre. L'amore, l'amicizia, il dolore, ricordo, le ho imparate da te. Vorrei tornare indietro per un momento, ma il tempo non si ferma, corre lontano. Io stringo forte a me la piccola mano che un giorno mi accarezzava, e da quel giorno i miei ricordi li dedico a te.
Okay. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, come in.
The religion of the family unfolds within the heart, experienced and conceived as a sacred state. Italians love monumental effect and neoclassical art, but this is an expression of being rather than a pretentious display of wealth. The house is the family temple. Ideal Australians feel the crisis of modern society. According to Peter Berger's image, modern people are homeless. They do not belong. To this situation, the Italians react by protecting the sacred character of the heart. In the home, the family can celebrate the right that can defend its unity against the erosion of it. The cult of the dead is a very important component of this culture. According to
Guarda, siamo quasi finiti.
Bâtiment.
Yeah.
There was no logic in those days.
Yeah, it's completely irrational. Grab whatever photo albums you'll use and yeah, walk back through and I'll come and find you.
So what we'd like you to do is just maybe tell us your migration story, particularly the story of your parents, when they arrived, why they left Italy when they did, and your earlier experiences. Just let go.
That's a lot.
Now we've got Sean and Martin.
Hello everybody, thanks for having us here.
They can sit down and have a cup of coffee, they'll sit with you, they'll ask you questions and you can, that's the way you can operate?
That's right, yeah. Just to quickly say what the project's about, we're trying to interview people aged 70 or over, roughly, about their experiences of migration from when they arrived from Italy here in the 50s and onwards. So that's pretty much it. It's an exciting project, working with COASIT.
Yeah. It's my room there. 6 people in one room.
6 people?
Double bed, one on the bottom and one on the top. That was on top.
I can't remember the ship that my dad came in. Yeah.
Can you remember arriving?
Mio marito venne dalla Sicilia, anche con la stessa storia, che il lavoro non c'era, aveva la famiglia, è stato in Svizzera, in Francia, una miniera.
There's 2 brothers there. That's my friend, but I don't know what happened to them, Frank and Giuseppe.
Okay.
You know, that life.
So different, I bet. Can you remember what your first memories were when you arrived?
I left Italy 19 November 1956 and I've been in Melbourne in 57 in January.
In January, just
12.
So were you on the ship
12. Little one, beautiful. I've got this one. Yeah. That's the one on the 64.
Okay.
Back to Italy.
All right.
You have to be back. You see something right. Yeah, back in Italy.
Around 1951.
51, no way, come on. Yeah. And what's your first memories?
Oh, I was only 11, and my mum was a widower, and she brought us out here, 3 of us, my brother and sister, and we landed in Melbourne. We had an uncle there, and we stayed in Melbourne for 2 days, and then we took the train and come to Montague and lived here ever since.
Look, we arrived at Station P at the end of 1947. My father was already here in Australia, so he came onto the ship because we had no shoes. We'd had no money, we had nothing. So he came onto the ship with a bag on his back and he emptied it out and it was all shoes. And he said, see which one fits you. You wear it. Well, mine was, I was only 8 years old, mine was too big.
4,000 migrants arrived on that day.
4,000 on
4,000 migrants arrived on that day, not for me. And so my parents didn't know what to do. They had suitcases. My little sister was 3 years old, and she started to fall asleep on my father's shoulder.
Oh,
and
wow.
We just didn't know where to go, who to talk to. And all of a sudden, someone said, look, you got to follow the crowd. And we followed the crowd, and we were taken into a train, an old rattler, those red rattlers that they had in those days. And we traveled through the night, and all of a sudden, we finished up in a migration camp.
Really?
And we finished up in Bonagilla
Bonagilla
for a couple of months. And my father had been a shepherd.
Si può presentare alla telecamera? Il suo nome?
Mi chiamo Tina Sesti, vengo da Siracusa, Italia, Siracusa. Io venivo di Floridia però, e mio marito era di Siracusa. E dunque abitavo là poi. Questa è la casa, ecco, sì, si vede, 2 scalini e sta la porta un po' più avanti, poi c'è una finestrina che ti fa vedere il reparto di sotto. Non può vedere. E da poco tempo che eravamo insieme, eravamo in tempo della guerra, i bombardamenti non ci lasciavano. Si arriva un punto che la mia mamma dice: venite a Floridia che papà c'ha un terreno e cominciate, dice, andare là perché qua è troppo pericoloso. Intanto che ci muovevamo, un bombardamento proprio nella piazza, ha ammazzato tanti uomini giovani, uno dei miei cugini da parte di mio marito anche. Queste cose continuano per tanto tempo. Così eravamo liberi. Noi siamo tornati di nuovo a Siracusa e abbiamo cominciato a vivere la vita un po' più tranquilla. Il tempo passa, i marinai vanno via, la disoccupazione era enorme. Allora la mia mamma del paese ha mandato via tante persone in Australia. E ha detto, dice, guarda, ho trovato un amico, una signora che è figlio in Australia. Ti fa l'atto di richiamo, vuoi andare in Australia? Mio marito gli ha detto, alla fine del mondo, basta che vado. E avevamo già 3 bambini. Arriva questo atto di richiamo, siamo andati a salutare gli amici. Una bella festa, si fa una bella festa quella sera. La festa si finisce e c'è il ritorno a casa dopo la mezzanotte. La carrozza con i cavalli, lo sa, nelle città ci sono i cavalli con le carrozze, non ci sono i tetti, ci sono però si cammina con la carrozza e il cavallo. Con quelle eravamo andati al paese, con quelle stavamo tornando. Il primo bambino, Sebastiano, era con noi. Non appena che abbiamo fatto poco strada, viene una macchina, con le fare della luce, il cavallo ha ciecato, ne ha messo tutti in aria, ne ha buttato tutti per terra. È successo un inferno. Io fu trasportata, io e il bambino trasportati in ospedale. Io mi avevo rotto un braccio e il bambino, quando la carrozza ha dibattuto, si è messo nel mezzo, si è rotto nel mezzo e quel pezzo di legno di là ci è entrato nel polmone al bambino. Siamo finiti tutti in ospedale, è stata una notte d'inferno. I giorni passano, hanno chiamato dottori di Catania e di Messina, specialisti per vedere se potevano aiutarlo. Questo bambino, gonfio tutto, era pieno di aghi per mandare l'aria del corpo. Sono venuti questi specialisti e hanno detto non ci può niente, il polmone è stato completamente trafitto. Tutti dicevano che questo bambino non era per questo mondo, perché era un bambino straordinario. Gli suoceri mi condannano, mi avete ammazzato un figlio. Mi avete ammazzato un figlio, non ci hanno parlato più. Ma di quel figlio è mio, voi siete le nonne, come potevo ammazzare io mio figlio? Non hanno voluto sapere, per loro è stata la cosa più peggiore che poteva esistere. Siamo andati avanti così, siamo andati avanti, non si parlava mio marito più con suo papà. Sono passati 6 mesi. Mio marito ha detto che cosa devo fare qua che non c'è niente da fare. Voi vi tenete vostra figlia con i bambini e io me ne vado. Addio la fortuna. Mio padre dice, quello adesso se n'è andato, figlia mia, sì che ti viene il marito indietro, sei finita ormai. Mio marito ha fatto subito l'atto di richiamo. Arrivo nella nave, la Messina, metto una pietra e la butto via. Quando io ho partito ho preso qualcosa e l'ho buttata all'acqua e dico, questa è l'Italia, sei morta per me, hai distrutto la mia gioventù, me ne vado, non ti voglio nemmeno pensare. E comincia così la vita in Australia. Mio marito ha cominciato a fare 2 lavori. Uno non era abbastanza. Sono rimasta incinta di questo bambino, perché sapevo che veniva il bambino. Io facevo una femminuccia, un maschietto, così. E questo bambino è l'australiano che mi è nato qua. E ho messo Sebastian come il primo bambino. Così ero un po' contenta di quello. Lo chiamo sempre il reply, il nome del piccolo. Poi col tempo ho detto, vado a lavoro anche io. La Fuscrai era una fabbrica grandissima. Ho lavorato tanti anni là, anche la figlia lavorava anche. Avevo una cugina e dite, guardo io le bambine. E pagavo 5 sterline. Io ne guadagnavo 8, 5 ce le davo a lei, 2 per la casa e 1 per il biglietto. Che guadagno avevo col sacrificio che faceva alzarmi alle 5. Lasciare i bambini per andare a lavoro. Alle 3:30 ero a casa e non c'era riposo, si correva sempre. È stato per tanto tempo così. Poi abbiamo comprato un'altra casa, vendendo quella. My house in Brunswick was the beautiful house district. Was a mica fence, beautiful fence, a little veranda with a nice tile. The corridor is longer. I find my husband with the wool green. If you look at the front there, not one like mine. And mine is beautiful. And this for me was a villa. E poi ho cominciato la vita in Australia da questo sistema, da una casa all'altra. I bambini sono cresciuti, a uno c'ho le prove dei nipoti, dei figli tutti sposati. Però mio marito a 57 anni ha finito la vita. Non è giusto, non era giusto. Adesso c'ha 36 anni che sono sola. Quando io sono andata 19 anni fa, sono andata per portarmi il bambino. Allora là non c'è più niente. E questa è la vita dell'Australia nostra. Questi intenti ancora sono qua a dire la storia. Cosa ne pensa? È una storia interessante, sì, vero?
Assolutamente. Anna, have you got a favourite memory? If you could choose something that's happened to you that you thought, I'm so glad that did, what might it be?
What do you mean?
Your memory.
Your memory. Oh, my memory is every night over in Italy, Marostica.
She remembers where she comes from every night.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you made a life in Australia for yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
It's almost embarrassing seeing pictures of yourself. But I never saw any of these. These were all taken of my aunt back in Trieste. That's Dad and me in Trieste, probably up the hill in San Giusto where the cathedral is. We came out to Australia, my mother, father and myself, in March, April 1955, and we've been happily here ever since. That's me with Dad at the duplex we lived in St Kilda Street opposite the golf club.
I was born in a town called Motta San Giovanni in the province of Reggio Calabria, which is on the edge of the toe of Italy. In fact, from my grandmother's house, you could see a slice of sea where the ships were travelling both towards the mainland of Italy and out towards Africa. I loved to sit on the doorstep and follow the ships as they went back and forth.
My parents were here, my sister was here, but I was living a country, Italy, where I wanted to stay. I came here to pick up my parents and sister and go back to Italy. But I didn't know that because I met her, you see.
Oh, I see.
I was the
black sheep.
So you both met in Australia?
Yeah. That's why he didn't go back to Italy with his parents.
So it's your fault.
Go because they stayed.
Nel 1960 Melbourne, cioè per uno come tutti quanti, anche adesso come tutti quando arriviamo in un altro paese, è una cosa molto molto diversa. Quei tempi là ancora più diverso perché l'Australia, non voglio offendere il paese stesso, ma insomma le modernità che avevamo in Italia e in Europa non c'erano. E di conseguenza era un po' triste per noi che siamo arrivati appunto in quel periodo là. Mi portavo in città.
Quindi faceva...
I primi tempi non piace a nessuno, adesso ci siamo abituati, è meglio.
E quindi quando è che ha conosciuto Guido?
Al 59, 6 mesi siamo stati fidanzati, ci siamo sposati.
E Guido da dove veniva invece?
Lui da Sulmona.
Da Sulmona, quindi era abruzzese.
Abruzzese, sì.
E lui è stato un militare?
Sì, ha fatto il militare, quando con la quinta armata si sono arruolati. E così hanno combattuto insieme con gli inglesi e hanno liberato l'Italia.
My younger brother came first and then he moved to Vanteghi because there was a lot of Italian here. He was only 18 when he left. And then a couple of years later, all the family, we come here in Vanteghi, never moved from here. I think the first few months it was very lonely with the language and all those things, you know.
Yeah.
But because me and my sister was a professional sewing, I got a job the next day.
Okay, did it straight away. Okay.
Yeah, and then from there we started to learn a bit of English and I got better.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, we're still here.
Yes.
That's right.
The first part of your journey is a 250-metre walk. You can go up to the Winder House and see this magnificent piece of...
Okay, so that's where we go. We're going to go down and I'll show you. If you trust me, we're going to go down and have a look. That's what I've been doing there for 35 years, taking people down. And before that, I was working the mine again. Yeah. Okay, come along.
Thank you.
I'm going to come on down. Yeah. G'day, Kevin, how you going?
How's it back?
Good.
Good?
Yeah, good on you. Yeah, good. Coming good again.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, here you are. Stop here for a few seconds. Anthony, I'll go down with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 people, 10 people anyway. Did you hear me, Anthony?
I can hear you there, Mr. Lou. You'll
Yeah.
be safe going down there. We've got a school group coming along behind you, not too far either.
Should be all right. Okay. Okay, coming down, we're going to have a look. Yeah. If you want to know something, just ask me, because me, or like I say, my English is very bad. Because when I married into my missus, she would do all the talking for me. So I never went to school. Yeah, they call me Luciano, is my name. Yeah. I came here in 1949. I've never been anywhere before, because I come from the mountain. But anyway. The last one, if you don't mind, just push the gate over in case the little kid coming in, okay? I'm supposed to be going to Germany, work in Germany. Okay, come on down. Or France, because Germany was destroyed completely in France. But the old man, he came back in 1948 from Australia, after the war. He said to me, he said, no, matey, he said, take it the wrong direction. He said, go to Australia, much better country, because he loved Australia. He asked me to come to Australia, so I came over. He signed the paper with me to come over, he paid the trip. And I got a job straight away in the mine. But in the meantime, I fell in love with the woman, and I married her, and that's it. That's the end of it. I stopped here for another few seconds. It's like I told you, that the tunnel was 102 years old. But we're lucky because this, another 200 years is still good as they make it, you know. We're very lucky. And there's only one mine in Victoria that people come down and have a look. In other words, if we would have lost this, nobody would have, especially for the young kids. Because me, I've got 14 grandkids, and sometimes when they play up, I'll say, you blooming devil, if you don't stop it, I'm going to take you there in the mine, we're going to leave you there. Put your head duck down.
Yeah. In the mine. You devil.
I live with my mother. We have a little girl, that's all. And we have a house like a restaurant. In the summer, a lot of people come out for holiday up on the mountain. So we have 40,000 tourists a year who come into the town.
Which one is you?
Me, this one here, on the near me. The other one, my brother. We're short, look.
Is that your dad in that photo with the cheese and?
Yeah, my father, yeah.
Yeah, like all
He
the
sent that photo over to his wife to encourage her to come over. You got oil, you got cheese, you got everything. She said, I'm not going to come up to Australia because she said her girlfriend, she came over before. On the way over, a little boy died on the boat. I'm not taking a risk, you see. So if you're not going to come, he said, send me the older boy, which was 16, because he said, a war going to come here. So from here down, they went down another 4 kilometres, and from here they went as far as the town, this way. This area here, the cow, that's what I told you, very small. Lying down, you should touch the floor, and the other should touch the roof. You know, lying down 8 hours a day. That's where I learned my first English word. When I come in there the first time I was lying down, I said, shit. The boy that said, gee, you learn English quick. I said, well, really, yeah. Anyway, like I said, then I got used to it, like, you know, and I'm still here. I would like to see the mine would keep it going, like, you know, otherwise it would be lost completely, like, you know. Yeah, because to me, something, history, the mine thing, like, you know. I come from a town with a lot of history, like, you know. That's all my family.
Did you come to Station Pier? Where did the boat land?
Melbourne. Fremantle first. That's where was my first beer.
First beer ever?
The boy is showing me a beer here in Fremantle. Me and my wife and the 3 boys and a girl. And then we come to Melbourne. So when I got here, my brother said, what do you want? You want a job on the mine? He said, we'll get a job straight away. I said, yep, we'll get a job straight away. We just hated it in the beginning, but then after, like, you know. In '95, I bought a shop, and there was a handy store, and they were continental stuff. So I work in the mine, my wife would look after the shop, and then when I finished the mine, I'd go on and work in the shop. 19 years we were in the shop, 7 days a week, 8 to 6 every day, never have a day off. Anyway, when I was starting in '95, retired, we went up to Italy. I took my wife over.
How did you know that she was the one?
Well, because I fell in love with her, that's it. I put my eyes on her, I said, that's it. I'm quite happy.
That's beautiful.
We're not interested in any other. Yeah. Yeah. I was a good worker, but she was good in the house. But Jesus, I tell you what, a woman in the house was worth $1 million. Jesus, can you imagine? Oh, I hate the blooming thing.
What was her name?
Ada.
Ada?
Ida, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, born here in Australia, but Italian descent, you know, yeah. Anyway, now I'm by myself because she passed away. She has cancer, the blooming thing, yes.
How long have you been here for, living in this house?
Since '95. They built me a unit before my wife died because she said it's hard to get up on the steps. So they built me a unit down the street and she never got in. She died before. And then I'll lift him up. And now put me outside and I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go once, twice, 3 times. And the bloke up there going to give me a call back. Yep. He gave me a free call. There he's all right. There we go. They took me down. I said, I'm not going to stay here. I've got all my memory up there, so I'll come back. They said, we're not going to help you to come ship back. I said, I'm going to do myself. So I'll come back, and the unit will rent it, because I said, right, I'm not going to stay there. Here, I've got all my, I've got chook, I've got all my fruit trees, I've got my, like, you know, when I'm up on the mine, I walk here in the garden, and they say, and pass me time.
When was the last time everyone was together?
A week before my wife died, look. We got all together. That big photo in the middle, my wife, she died a week after.
How old was she when you got married?
She was 23. And I was 24. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam's got the school one, I think. Sam, why that one?
Well, it reminds me of my first day at school, when it was quite traumatic because my father and uncle brought us 3 children to the playground and just left us there. My brother refused to go with his teacher, so he had to come with me into the classroom. He sat next to me, and every time the nun came to get him away, he'd go, "Wah!" Then she'd walk away. Eventually I calmed him down, and this wonderful Sister Vincent, I think her name was, came and took him away, and I was left finally alone. And suddenly I hear somebody behind me saying, "Meridionale, meridionale." I didn't know what the word meant, but I knew the tone, that it was insulting. So he said it again, "Meridionale." So I got up off the desk, got this feather duster, turned around and hit him, the kid next to me, the nun who came. I made my mark in the town. But the nun indicated, because I didn't speak much English, to go to the back of the room, to pick up the strap, to bring it up the front, and to stand up with the strap in my hand and with her doing this, which I meant, you do it again and you're going to be punished. And so I learned English very quickly because I had to. Yeah. So, and that later on, of course, late that year, we arrived in January, February school started, and I still remember that in April, I got a holy picture for being the best speller in my class.
Yay!
2 months later.
My name's Millie Schillick, and I am a migrant child of World War II Eastern European refugees who came here after World War II as part of the IRO, the International Refugee Organisation, resettlement plan. do we want? Wait for it. My father was born in Siberia. He was a school teacher, he was a chess champion, he was a musician. One day he was into the army, drafted. Next week the Germans invaded. He was taken as a prisoner of war for the next 4 years. My mother was born in Ukraine, outside a big city, and she was brought up on a farm. When the Nazis invaded in 1941, she became slave labour, as did thousands of other Ukrainian and Russian girls. They took her to Germany to work in slave camps. That's the story of my family's, my mum and dad's background. The war story is too complicated to tell. They were refugees in Italy at the end of the war, at Trieste near Venice. Because they were refugees, they were forced to immigrate. So they applied to the International Refugee Organisation. They were entitled to come out here. They wanted to go to Canada and America like everybody else. In the midst of all this, I was born. Hallelujah. They just had enough of war after years and years of being slave labour and of being a POW, and it was just not the life they wanted for themselves and me. This is a tape I made when I visited my mum and dad in 1987. I was living in Perth at the time, running my own business. It was one of those rare times where I could actually get them to talk about the war, which they didn't really do when I was growing up. And it makes me realise how little I did know about it. I haven't heard this for a long time, so excuse me if I get a bit emotional, but there we'll...
Easter Sunday 1988, and I've come over from Perth to visit my parents in their flat in Altona, Melbourne, and we're doing a little bit of family history, and we've got a lot of things to go through.
Did you bring much junk over?
One box.
That wooden box we had.
We had a big crate of stuff.
Was it? That was in it with the refugee plates and the green blankets. Remember those green blankets?
The reason why they came to Australia.
You know, the displaced people.
Yeah. All the displaced people from Europe had to go.
Really?
From Italy, from Europe, had to go.
Why? What happens if you're Italian? Like I was Italian, wasn't I?
We'd be refugees.
Refugees.
Stateless.
Stateless. So they had to get out.
They couldn't afford to keep the migrants in Italy because it was all overpopulated and the country was poor. How they can keep migrants over there when the Italian didn't have any jobs?
Why didn't we go to America?
Yeah,
because the council hasn't arrived. We've been in the camp for a long time, and for months you don't see any council. Then suddenly come council, or come from Brazil, or come from Canada, or come from Australia.
We're all coughing. Altona Refinery.
But who knows for when the council will come? It can be 1, 2, 3 years, so you know the time. And it come Australian council, so we decided to go to Australia.
They had to leave.
We passed all examination. I have to.
They had to leave.
All with the help and all papers and everything, you know. Everything was ready to come to Australia. Here it come Canada. Started take.
Oh, wow.
And we wanted to change it, and no way the Australian council said, no, it's everything done, you passed, and then you must go to Australia.
So we could have been in Canada.
That was our dream.
Or America.
We haven't been eligible to Canada. Canada took only singles.
There you go. That's the story of why we ended up in Australia when they wanted to go to Canada and America, is because the Aussies, after we'd signed up with them, said, no, you can't change your minds. You got to go now. Too late. And so they wandered onto the ship and they came here and they got on with all those thousands of refugees, and we ended up in Parkes Migrant Hostel.
You asked for family photographs? Well, these are my early ones, along with a bit of memorabilia. Italian eggs and garlic for me. A lot of photographs. My first family album. Can you tell us my first one's 1950s? And it's pictures of Dad in the army, my parents, my first family shot of Mum, Dad and I in Trieste before we were leaving Italy, long time ago. So we arrived in 1950 on the ship from Naples called the Castel Bianco, and we got put into a migrant camp which was in Bathurst. It was a run-down, abandoned army camp. Very, very bad conditions. 9 children died while we were there. That was only in 6 months. I had scarlet fever. I was put into hospital for a month. After that, they moved us to Parkes, which was rural New South Wales. This is a holy picture. It was brass and aluminium. It was found in a bombed-out church in Trieste. My mum and dad, being refugees at the time, were walking through. They dug this out. This was on every wall in every house from then, from before I was born, and I'm still on display here in Mum and Dad's house. They took this as an omen that they would make it. It was a culture shock for Europeans. We lived on the Adriatic coast in architecturally magnificent buildings. My mother just loved living in Italy. So did my dad. The music, the art, everything about it. My mother was more of a Sophia Loren type person. She'd taken on the Italian persona. She'd been a teenager when the war broke out. So, culture shock. You know, where's the olive oil? Where's the coffee? Where's the pizza? Where's the pasta? Where's the salami? Nothing. Mutton, and more mutton. Tea and mutton. That was it. Yes, it was hard. After their 2-year work contract had ended in New South Wales, Mum and Dad saved enough money, and Dad had come down to Melbourne by train and bought the cheapest block of land he could find. Where was that? Well, I was in the western suburbs of Melbourne. I smile because people still smile. You say, you know, I'm a Westie, the western suburbs. Gosh, it's come on a bit. I'm impressed. When we arrived, it was flat land, and there was very, very few homes. Well, Dad said it was like a hot Siberia. No water, no paths, no road, no fences, no neighbours. It's like a little house on the prairie. Mum wasn't happy in Brooklyn because I think Mum was a fish out of water there. She actually would have made the perfect socialite. She managed to get a job in the Footscray hotels. Initially, there was a problem with the accent because she'd get picked on a lot. But she would answer back in numerous languages, and she'd say things like, well, I at least speak 6 languages. You can't even speak Australian properly. She became very popular. That was an out for her sociability. Plus, she dressed beautifully. She should have been a movie star. My dad was more of a quiet person. He liked to study, he liked the music, and he was a cultural man, and he found it difficult because he couldn't find anyone at his level of intellect to discuss world issues with. I know this street very well.
How close is the house to your memory of it?
Nothing.
Yeah.
No. Nothing. The timber that my dad painted, and I would paint the flower boxes that had a beautiful garden. It was the best house in the street as far as the garden goes because my dad knew about gardening. Mum was an absolute fusspot. Everything had to be spotless. My bedroom was at the back, and that was good because Mum and Dad, front there, we had a lot of parties here. Dad would play piano accordion, he'd play balalaika and mandolin. Mum would get up and be a show-off and she'd sing and dance. And all the neighbours, migrants only though, because Aussies didn't really accept us. They gave us a bit of a hard time. This is the way it was then. And so the house now has completely changed. All the migrants and the Irish and the Scottish, we all played with each other. It was fine. But I think a lot of the parents, when they found out that their kids, they were playing with the migrant kids, they sort of banned them. And that's when I started wanting to be Australian, and which is sad for my parents. But I felt that I had to be what people around me wanted me to be acceptable. Well, I found out by the time we left in the late 60s that it wasn't acceptable no matter what you did. Went to London and lived there. Didn't mix with Aussies that much because by then I decided I was truly European and I wanted to mix with my own kind and be accepted. And it was acceptable in England to be European. Here it hadn't been. So whilst I was living overseas, I regained my Europeanness. And when I went back to Italy, I felt at home straight away in Trieste, that part of Italy, and I wanted to stay there, but I couldn't. I still am Italian at heart, even though I was only a baby when I left, or a little toddler, so I'm more Italian than Russian or German or Ukrainian, which runs in the family. So Europe to me was a homecoming. And when I came back, I decided I was going to be European, not Australian anymore.
Trieste has been through quite a lot of upheavals over its history. It was originally part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It was taken over by Yugoslavia, and after the war it was divided into two sectors. We lived in the British sector and there was an American sector. The British were very heavy-handed and very controlling, and it wasn't appreciated by the residents of Trieste. The protests of 1953 must have been part of the reason for my father in particular wanting to move away from Italy.
Under the command of British Major M.H.R. Carragher, intervene immediately and charge the crowd, by now enlarged by Trieste citizens who have joined the original procession.
This is my mother, myself with the handbag. I would have been 14 at the time, and my two little sisters before we left Italy. 1954. My mother, my two young sisters and I, we left Italy in the middle of summer. Brilliant sunshine. And I had this fantasy that as a ship was going through, like the ships that I had been watching before, I'd be able to point to my grandmother's house. However, as the ships start galloping out of the port of Naples down Italian west coast, these small places, they were indistinguishable. It was the most destabilising thing, because I still had this fantasy that I could point out to our town or to my nonna's house. Leaving for such a faraway place was really a leap in the dark. You really had no idea what you find at the other end, or how you find it at the other end, or how the other end would find you, indeed. You hoped for a better future, but you really didn't know.
This is my mother, Luigi. When I was born, 1936, my name was Chiara. But when my father came from Africa, from where he was, he saw me, I was so dark. He said, Chiara, you know, clear, it doesn't suit you. But he baptized me as Chiara. That is
as a family, we are really happy. We have been so well accepted here over the years that we have received a long, a strong, a valuable benefit from this country. We have also given this country some other things.
Nel 68 ho comprato la macchina da tostare, l'ho comprata in Italia, una macchina da 30 kg. E ho cominciato a tostare il caffè. La gente veniva dentro il negozio perché l'odore e il profumo che era. Caldo in quei giorni là era una cosa da scoprire. Cosa c'era di nuovo? Eravamo io, l'Aigon Fuzzo, l'University Café, Donnini, questo e l'altro st'altro, ed era bello. Sempre abitato a Calto, anche adesso che non ho più l'attività a Calto, vengo a Calto tutti i giorni.
Perché mi comporto bene con tutti e tutti mi vogliono bene.
Signora, chi erano i nostri bambini?
Mio figlio quando era piccolo, vicini,
ho capito.
che giocavano, invece adesso questa c'ha i bambini, cioè figli, belle grandi, sono più grandi di mio figlio era più piccolo. E la mamma sua ogni tanto, quando uscivo, io c'era guardava mia figlia.
Scusa,
no, stavo a guardare pure io.
Scusi.
Per dirci chi erano. E queste sono tutte quelle che lui aveva.
Signora.
La libreria.
Quando
hanno scoperto la targa all'Abruzzo Club. No, aspetta, questa al cimitero. A me ci sono quando. Sì, ha fatto per la targa mio marito.
La targa che cercava prima?
Sì, sì.
Could you take me through a few of the pages?
Yep, okay. Hang
so
on.
who's that on the front?
That's me.
Oh, wow. Come on, how old were you then?
I would have been probably about, I don't know, 4. And that's my mum and I, yeah.
September the 4th.
Yeah, I was born, yeah. So I came out when I was 5 and a half.
So that was in Italy?
That was in Italy, yeah. And my mother made all the outfit. She was a dressmaker, yeah.
And so where were you born in Italy?
We were born in Bizzini in Sicily. I was born, yeah.
Wow.
My dad was Niccolo Grimaldi and Pasqualina. Mastro Pietro was my mum.
Yeah.
And she'd married Dad and become a Grimaldi. What I could say to my parents changed their life around what they moved to Australia. I mean, as Ross was saying also, there was no future back there.
No.
And that's why they came to Australia to sort of build a better life for their family. You'll get the same story, repetition of the same story all the time.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is from Italy, roughly about 1955-56. So this is my family the year before we left for Australia. That's me over here, my younger brother and my other 2 brothers and sister, and mum and dad. Unfortunately, that's the only photo I have from the old country. My name is Nicholas Sita. My original name is Nicola Sita. I was born in a place called Bivongi, Calabria in Italy. I was born in 1947. We arrived in Melbourne in March 1957. Mum bought some cooking pans and everything there because I thought Australia was nothing. They were told that in Australia you lived in wooden houses, and their vision was living in log cabins. And they got a big surprise when they came over, you know. It's a lot nicer than what they expected, yeah. And this was our house on Station Road, which is no longer there. The house was been pulled down since. It was only a 3-bedroom house. There was 7 of us, so we had to share beds until actually my older brother and sister, they got married and moved out. And it wasn't until I was about 14 that I got a bed on my own, more than 15. Yes. Now, go and see if I can find those shoes. They're like a pattern. Dad was a cobbler, a shoemaker. He bought all his equipment out, his sewing machine, all his tools for making shoes. Yeah. Here you go, some of the pointy shoes. They used to be possibly fashionable back then in the 50s and 60s. He had a lot of other stuff there, machinery to make shoes, yeah, like sewing machines and little grinder and polishers. Yeah. Yeah, but they were too big to keep, so when Dad passed away, we just disposed a lot of that. And that's one of the things that I kept. It wasn't really a great demand at that time for shoes here. For him, it was better to go and work in the industry.
Was he sad about that?
He was a bit first, but then I think he got used to it, and he got accustomed to it. And he used to work in his garage, repairing shoes and making shoes, but only at a small scale, only for friends and family. My dad got a job at a place called Massey Ferguson. We used to make harvesters and tractors in sunshine. And that's where my dad first got a job in 1957. And that's when they bought him and moved to Deer Park. This is Deer Park State School. Here's where I enrolled myself when I was 13. When I left St Peter Chanel's, I was supposed to go and do grade 4, but I thought myself I was too old for that. And that's where I met the vice principal, and I told them he can test me on anything I'm quite capable of. He had a discussion with the principal. He came out and said, we'll put you in grade 5 and see how you handle that. And I thought to myself, well, that's better than doing grade 4, at least I... So I enrolled. After about a month, this Mr. Collins came in there. He had a chat with the teacher. Then he called me, Nick, come on, and he took me into the next room, which was grade 6. And he made me sit next to this other boy there. Unfortunately, he was another Italian kid. So at first we're spending all the time just yapping, and he's saying that's not good. So he got me to sit next to a girl. Well, that stopped me from talking. And also she was very helpful. She would look over to see what I was doing, and she would give me a nudge and show me. But, that really changed my life. I had Mr. Collins, and he was more than a mentor. He guided me in a lot of things at the time. Also, which school to go to. He said, if you can make the Sunshine Technical School, that's a very good school area, which I did. And to me, that was one of my changes in life. Yeah. Early work friends, rebuilding turbines and compressors at the mobile refinery. I went to a birthday party when I was in my early 20s. And I met this guy because he was working at the refinery there. The money that he was earning, I just didn't believe him. He was earning $30, $40, $50 more than what I was a week. And one time the opportunity arose that I was near the area there, and I saw a sign, vacancy. I applied for it right away, and that's how I started there. Where I worked was a lot of Italians, Maltese, Polish, Germans. We were all mixed together. I didn't actually congregate with just the Italian community on it. I mixed with a whole lot of them. We're at the Mobile Altona Refinery. I started work here in 1973 and worked for about 43 years. Yep. Yeah, today is unfortunately the last day of the refinery. It's been a home for a lot, we call it work, but you spend more time here than you go at home. So we were like family. It is part of me, and it is sad it's going to go, but it's always been on the cards. Yeah, that's when we first moved in this house. We had nothing much there, just a close line and no fencing.
This house here?
This house here, built in 1980. Yes, I did a lot of the work myself. I was pretty handy back in those days. The wife, myself, and we had 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. Got over, that's Jody, Amy and Leighton, my wife and myself. We used to have a little cabana camper, which was very simple, very easy to put together. Some of our trips we used to go away. And the wife would have the children from school. She would have that packed up on a Friday night. And as soon as I would come home, we would change, hook it to the back of the car, and we'll be off for the weekend. With the car and the camper, they thought we were the Leyland brothers. But the kids loved it. A few steps and we're there.
Okay, we're going through the same bag.
this is the Port Arlington Beach. That's my younger daughter. I always encourage my children to do adventurous stuff, not just sit around, go around the bush or rivers and rocks and climbing there. My mum and dad never really went on a holiday. They went back to Italy once, I think, but they didn't have holidays as we know them. They went back to the Calabria and the family village there. Wasn't much family left at that time. But I remember quite vividly that Mum came back with a totally different view. She came over here and she thought everything was no good and everything back home was nice and rosy, what she remembered. But when she came back, totally different view. The whole place there has changed, but they were locked in that time zone and they didn't realise things over there had changed so much. It was amazing because then she really embraced Australia. Until then, Australians, it's no good there, the food is no good and this is no good and everything, until she went back there and she realised the change. Yeah.
Do you remember your first dance?
I can.
What was it? What was the...
It's an Italian, well, a tango. Waltz, tangos, waltzes. Yeah, he was a good dancer.
I bet. And did he ask you to dance?
He did.
Oh, come on.
He did.
Excellent.
You know, Italians dance close. You know that, don't you? None of this over there business. It's, you know.
You come here as perhaps a teenager, and all of a sudden you meet your husband. And to me, it's a very good memory because I entered a family, Italian family, who played cards on a Sunday. Mother-in-law, sons were all around a table playing cards. The ladies were making coffees. We talked about kids, and we always were together.
On Sundays, there was the tradition della visita.
Oh, yes.
And that is what allowed most of the families in here to survive.
Yes.
Because you would go to one place, visita, then to another place the next day, and they would come to your place and all these others with the kids and the whole lot. And that was so very, very important in survival that a lot of people have always taken it for granted.
Prima che sono venuta qua abbiamo fatto quella foto. Io ero 19 anni.
19 qua?
19 years there. Maria Domenica De Leo. Maria. Adesso 84.
84
84. 84. Così. Luca, guarda. Guarda. 2, 3. Così non mettere più qua. Cambia questa, cambia. Perché sono grosse, si cuociono subito.
Sì.
Puoi mangiare prima.
No, ha mangiato cannolo che mi faceva fame. Arriviamo. Arriviamo.
Yeah.
I used to make a lot because we're 7. Somebody else took. I had to make a for everybody. Io ho lavorato solo 2 mesi della mia vita e io prendevo 5 sterline a settimana. 5 sterline a settimana. Capisci? $5 a week. Io sono stata a lavorare in una fattoria di scarpe. Just 2 months. That's it. And that's it. And then my boyfriend came. I got married. 5 children. I stayed home, work all the time.
Do you have any special memories that stand out to you here?
Le memorie speciali qua. Tutto. Per i figli. Tutti mi volevano bene. Okay? Mi volevano. Everybody loved me a lot. Marito, eravamo d'accordo. Sempre bella. 60 anni. 60 years. We've been married 60 years. We never fight, I think. Lui mi aiutava a me e io facevo tutto quello che potevo. I did everything for him until the end. Good luck. With all my heart. I wish you buona fortuna.
Grazie mille.
Memories, we will always have them in our heart from our country. This is where we were born. This is where we first started life. But the memories, the real memories, are made here in Australia because it's like you have left your old life behind to start a new one. And this is when the memories are made, the moment we arrived here. A new life, new memories.
Beautiful. We'd like to share our thanks to you all. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
And it's nearly raffle time.
Is it? Oh, wow. Perfect timing, huh? Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
nastro d'argento, la vita lunga, sospesa al vento. Venita nascere, barchetta mia, Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia.
Che coro!
Con questo zeffiro così soave, come bello sta sulla nave, sui passeggeri venite via, Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia. Con questo zeffiro così soave,
Adesso cominciano.
come bello sta sulla nave.
E cominciano.
Tu sei l'impero dell'armonia, Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia.
Viva l'Italia! Ha aperto il cuore. Crei?